probably better at that size, so maybe a 4. Thank you for following Mef71. Can you see a little bit of in-game? Well, there's not too much to show off in-game at the moment. But let me finish this real quick. I need to set the comb water texture size to 4 by default. Yeah, so in-game right now, it's you know, we're not doing too much. We're just getting the visual look on a lot of these things. It's a platformer, so we'll be running around and jumping, and the lighting in this level is not super amazing. But that's our character. It's kind of a speed-based platformer, so we'll be running real quick and jumping and avoiding stuff and all that. And we'll get working on it. There are pretty much no final assets in the game yet. We don't have a good, like, beautiful corner of, like, here is what it will look like. We do have some more of the concept art. And all the rest there. So we're working on it. We're slowly getting to where we want to be. And those waterfalls are trash. Adam has much cooler waterfalls than I have in this level. Alright, so I need to make it so the textures can be changed for the water. I'm just gonna have stupid opacity on the edge ripples. I'm fine with this. Oh yeah, and we also have some flow field stuff going on here, so these characters that I'm spawning have absolutely no momentum or anything. They're just following the flow field along. They don't have collision with each other or anything like that, so we'll have stuff, you know, floating around in the water and cool stuff going on, hopefully. You can see them paddle all the way off into the distance. Goodbye. Yeah, I think the edge ripple stuff was pretty damn successful as to what I was going for. So I'm happy with that. And this is just like stupid noisy crap water. Hopefully Adam will be able to tune everything to make it look non-retarded. Alright. So the next thing we need is these textures to be settable on this object. So how many textures do we actually have? Can I just search for text object? Looks like it will be easier just to go from the top left down. And I'm just writing these down so I can then go throw them in other stuff. With the fat sack genocide again? What do you mean? The fat sack genocide never went anywhere. I'm just hunting around to make sure I didn't forget any textures for anything. They breathe faster than rabbits? Yeah, we're just gonna give Bitey a stick, and that's gonna be a game mode. You just go around murdering fat sacks. I mean, I guess he doesn't even need a stick. He can just kick the little bastards off into the distance and just BAM! Yeah, I remember Adam was telling me this like big long story about a fat sack and all this stuff. It was supposed to be like super emotional or something else. And like at the end of this like 20 minutes of him telling this story about fat sack, I was just like, all right, hold that thought in your mind. Try to picture it. And then Bitey comes on screen and just kicks the fat sack into the distance, and he just like Adam just lost it because he had set up this like nice, amazing, emotional scene. And I just ruined it with an intrusive thought of murdering the fat sack. He's just like, God damn it, that's perfect. Alright, so we need to set the textures for everything. We've got quite a few textures for all this garbage. So we've got the calm water noise normals. The calm water stuff is this stuff, I'm guessing. Alright, so calm ripples. So we're going to need a texture object for this. So let's make a new variable here. Just be calm water noise texture. And we are going to set this to a texture 2D. Calm water noise is going to be this water Voronoi noise. Texture by default. And we'll duplicate this and I'll do calm water noise normals. And that should be the Voronoi noise normals. Cool. Very in character for the little asshole. It's true. It's all true. Alright, so we're going to snag all this trash and we're going to start setting some texture parameters on this. So we got our noise texture and our noise normals texture. Once we finish these textures, like we're done with the water. At least we're done with the water surface. We're now going to move on to like dynamic water interactions and crap like that. Like let's add some ripples on this thing from like raindrops, right? Let's do that sort of cool stuff. All right, so we got this rolling around. Alright, so we got those. Now we need the motion, noise, normal, and textures. Alright, so water motion, surface motion. Alright, so this will be water motion texture, which is of type texture 2D. And this will be water motion normals. So let's compile those, set the defaults, and that's the Perlin noise texture by default. Alright, so let's slot those in there. Alright, so motion noise texture and motion noise normals. Very good. Alright, so we need surface noise texture and surface noise normals. So where is surface noise? It's here. Alright, so surface noise texture. This is a texture 2D. This is surface noise normals. Alright. And this is pretty cool that we can just hook up all these texture parameters like this. I've been pretty happy with Unreal's material system once I learned basically how to do some inputs. Anyway, let's set the defaults on this bastard. This is going to be the surface noise texture, which is this thing. It is not that thing at all. And the surface noise normals. Just like that. But it is kind of cool that we can just kind of slot in a different noise channel for these things. It's like, well, what if the surface noise used this random trash texture that I got going on? And just do all sorts of things. Alright, next one is the edge ripple noise and noise normals. Alright, edge ripples have got a lot of different stuff going on. It's like I did them last. So they got the most trash you can throw on them. Edge ripple noise texture and edge ripple noise normals. This is a texture 2D. So we'll snag both of those. Noise texture, noise normals. And we are going to have to actually set these. Alright, so we've set those up. So let's see if they actually work. Let's slot in something wrong for textures and normals. So we've got edge ripple stuff there. Let's try. Yeah, we can change how the edge ripple noise works. And all that sort of stuff. Alright, cool. So we now have fully customizable water stuff going on. Let's make sure we got everything saved. I think this is a really good place to maybe check in my work. And these things over here, I've actually got some little texture generator things that I can plug in to dynamically update this stuff. But I'm at a point here where I think I want to save everything and be good, and then then I can kind of tinker around with stuff. But to be honest, I think I just want to make sure I don't lose any of this, because the water is pretty much done for all the static generation stuff and all the effects that I think we need. So I think I'm going to check it all in. Yeah, and if you're curious about how version control stuff works, basically I've got all these files here that I checked out. Kind of the version control systems are kind of like a library, and you check files in, check them out. Some of them work differently, but Perforce works pretty much directly like that. So when I check all this stuff in, basically it means I can revert back to it, I can look at what I did, and all that sort of stuff. So it's, kind of, and it's all backed up off-site, so if my machine, died in a horrible fire 5 minutes from now, I would still have all this work. And it also means I can kick off the build machine to verify any other things that are broken or not. It also means Adam could go pull down my stuff and take a look at it. I'm gonna actually go kick off the build to make sure I don't break anything here. Alright, what's on my list next if I was gonna do anything else today? Next thing is dynamic ripples. So I think I'm pretty much done for all this for today. I don't think there's anything really. I'm at a good stopping point, so I think I'll see what Adam's up to and then maybe say hello. Oh man. He looks tired. Yeah, he's starting to fade out. Anyway, I think I'm just gonna kick over and see if he's gonna do. I'll ask him if he wants to work on any of this real quick. So we'll see. I can mess around with a little bit of this. Let's turn a few of these things off. So we got this edge ripple stuff. Let's see if we can mess with the... So I guess, yeah, Adam will actually roll over here real quick. So let me know if you can't hear him when he comes in.
Hey, yo.
Hello. How's it going over there in Australia land?
In Australia land, we tried to get Twitch chat working in virtual reality, and it wouldn't work. So, god damn it. So I'm back out. Karakan's posted a multi-stream link for those guys who are listening to me in the chat. Thank you, Karakan. This is where you can watch Kirk demonstrate what he's been working on tonight while I've been fumbling around in ZBrush, trying to get used to it so that I can
do all the cool
so
things.
that I can make cabins. Yeah. So how you doing? Let's have a look. What do you got?
Well, I took another stab at the shore ripples. You can see that going on.
Oh yeah.
There. So
interesting.
I think it came out a lot better than what I had.
Yeah.
Before. So basically, I got everything. So like this is the water object, and you can turn all the effects like on and off.
Yeah.
So there's like a rough shore edge effect. There's like a calm shore edge effect sort of thing.
Right.
Surface noise stuff. The calm water sort of thing. Kind of those edge ripples. And then the water motion. So everything's parameterizable, so we can do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's all checked in and ready to go. You can play with it if you'd like.
Excellent.
And there's other things like it's still all on the test content stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, I can screw around with, like, if you actually hook up these generators to these sorts of things, I can change how these things look, kind of. At,
oh, okay.
So, like, if I turn everything off except for that edge ripple, I kind of mess around with this. So let's see, like, you can mess around with it and it'll like update in real time.
Yep. Beautiful.
So stuff like that, maybe we can experiment with different things.
Oh, right. Yeah, look at that. Nice. So how did you pull that off? Because that's quite effective, the edge ripple.
Oh, I'll crack it open for you.
I mean, it's pretty impressive, actually. It's just like a kind of turbulent noise panning through that edge ripple that you made.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like in the material. I did pretty much exactly what you were talking about with that video.
Oh yeah.
Basically, I've got this
nice.
This texture here that it kind of looks like this when it's moving. So it's kind of just real simple.
Yeah, right. Perfect.
And then I add this, I mask it with the shoreline.
Yep.
And I've got this like edge ripple max thing on there, so I can kind of, it's
Oh wow, yeah.
it's got the edges, so when we mask it, we can then like clamp it and do all sorts of stuff to figure out what it looks like, and then kind of just take it. It was going from like -1 to 1, so now I can kind of do a little bit of math on it, so all of a sudden it kind of looks like this.
Yeah.
And then you can control the thickness of it by doing just a power function on it, because every time you multiply it by itself, it gets smaller, so it'll shrink it down to an actual ripple edge.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
And then you just multiply by your color, and well, I mean, I guess there's also this removing God, where is it? I think it's this thing. Yeah, we have another texture thing that's kind of moving in the background, which is using the same basic noise but with a little bit different thing on it. And when you just combine those two textures, you combine the edge, this texture, and then just overlay on top of it this moving noise texture, which looked like that.
Yep.
Maybe I can actually show it off easier.
There is a lag in what I'm seeing, but because I'm watching your streams, so there's a few seconds delay, but I get what you're clicking around.
So that picture plus that picture equals this larger picture.
Oh, nice.
So it took three tries, but finally got something that's something like what we've been talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's highly effective too, like in the context of the level, especially if we make it subtle, because at the moment it's really obvious, and it so we can see what it's doing and what's going on. But yeah, we can play with it, and it's really good.
Yeah, it's important to note, when you actually run it and you're looking at it from such an extreme angle as what we'd actually be playing at, a lot of these effects look super exaggerated when you look at them like straight up.
Yeah.
But then you actually run it in the game, you're like, oh, it kind of needs, for you to even see it, it needs to be like hitting you over the head or something.
Yeah, right. Okay, it needs to be exaggerated because of the distance and the angle. Yeah, that's true. That looks really effective, though.
It makes everything else look bad. You're like the water along the edges. You're like, ah, man, like we need like some vertex deformation or something.
Yeah, some little kind of meniscus of connection of the water to the object.
So, we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's as far as I got today. I'm pretty much burned. Too much. You
burned.
Freaking.
Well, these ripples and stuff that you've done. Like we were talking about trying to emulate the look of the movies, of what I was doing in the movies, and I think this is shits all over that movie stuff.
I don't know about that.
This is beyond it. Well, this is what I would love to have been able to do in if I could do this in Harmony, I probably would have been doing this in the animation. But that turbulent texture going through that shore ripple is just really highly effective. It's great.
Well, that was your idea, so thanks for kicking it over there.
Hey, thanks for doing it.
Whatever.
Thanks for putting my crazy ideas into reality. No, this looks good.
Anyway,
nice. Well,
I'm gonna sign off here, so I'll probably do a call tomorrow or day after or whatever.
Yeah, I've got a meeting pretty much as soon as I get up in the morning, so we can talk later in the day probably.
Cool.
If you're around. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
Anyway.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Later.
Okay, goodbye.
Anyway, cool. It's always good just to check in and tell them cool stuff is available in case who wants to mess with cool stuff. Anyway, I am burned out for today. So thanks for sticking around and having fun and all that. Hopefully everyone else is having as much fun as I am dealing with Unreal stuff. Maybe one day I'll be finished with the water, but today is obviously not that day. So I will be back. And people are out of town for like the next couple weeks anyway, so I probably will be on more regularly. I've been taking a lot of time going fishing with my dad, killing creatures, things like that. It's been pretty good. So anyway, I'm out of here. Thanks for sticking around. Good night.